What is up, Sneeples? We have a BnR announcement yet again. This one's a big one. It's going to change up some metas here. We're going to get into that. We got a tier list on its way in this video. But let's first get into why we're making a tier list. So Classic Constructed, no changes. Makes sense. Everything's kind of just, it stands still until heavy hitters. So who needs BnR right now? Blitz. We got some Wizard cards coming back. Which actually is some good information to know because, we have heavy hitters coming. That's going to be Guardian Warrior Brute set. And with that, we are kind of anticipating some sort of arcane heavy set to follow. We have lost one of our wizard heroes, so we only have one wizard in the CC format. We haven't had Runeblade be a thing for a long time, so we're expecting some sort of Runeblade, some sort of wizard in a set that's closely to follow for heavy hitters, if not the very next set. And so with Aether Wildfire becoming legal, you got to imagine that right now the LSS team is working on that wizard set or that arcane heavy set, and they must have thought that Aether Wildfire is not going to be such a bad card in Blitz for the wizards that are going to be coming out in the future to have. So with that in mind, we know that the wizards in the future are going to operate in a similar way as Kano, and therefore Aether Wildfire will not be as effective. So these are good things to know. These are like good little tales of the future. And then Centauri Sabers will become legal again once Kasai's out again. All makes sense. Now let's get into the real part, right? And that's Living Legend. This is why you clicked on the video. Living Legend format, you can see all these restricted cards is getting, a mix-up. It's getting shooken up here. It's becoming a whole new meta. Awakening being restricted, I think everyone can agree that this is the right thing to do. This one makes sense. It should always just be a one of anyhow. Warmonger's Diplomacy being restricted. I think most people can, reasonably be okay with this as well. This is definitely a gatekeeper card to a lot of the decks out there, and restricting it to a one of seems right, seems good. I think I like Awakening and Warmongers being restricted here. Also, the fact that we are restricting and not outright banning, I'm all for it. I think, we keep Living Legend where you can play every single card, but yeah, just having one-ofs. Now let's get into the other ones, because I think a lot of people are surprised with how many cards got hit and the type of cards that got hit. So, Channel Lake Frigid getting hit. Now, all these cards here affect Starvo. These are all cards that Starvo ran in his deck. And so they all affect Starvo tremendously. But Channel Lake Frigid getting hit, there is some collateral damage. And we're going to see more collateral damage with these other cards as well. We are seeing collateral damage with this card with Icelander. This is a huge card for Icelander, Channel Lake Frigid. We're seeing it with Oldham. Oldham likes his ice cards. And then we're actually seeing it with Lexi as well, because Lexi in Living Legend format wants to be more ice, and the reason is because she can't really outrace the Fies, the Chains, and even maybe the Fish Rise of the format, but she can disrupt them if she has ice cards. And so Channel Lake Frigid is obviously great disruption, and she loses that. So that's a big bummer for Lexi and Icelander for sure, and a little bit Oldham as well. Crippling Crush. Yeah, this one obviously hurts Starvo a ton, but very much hurts Bravo a ton as well. Original Bravo gets hit with Crippling Crush being restricted and Starstruck. That's two of his specializations that were really good. Now the only specialization he has that's not hit is Showtime, and I think we all know that card just really isn't, coming up to bat and just hitting home runs like these two right here. Next up, Hypothermia. Just like Channel Lake Frigid, another ice disruption card, and it's hitting the same heroes, which is big. Just unfortunate, really. That's really what it is. Because if you like playing those ice heroes, if you like playing more disruptive control, you got a few cards that are being taken away from you, unfortunately. Oak and Old. my boy Oldham. He cannot go through any format without getting stuff taken away from him. Yeah, he loses Okanolda here, which is, yeah, that sucks. Like, technically he lost Awakening as well, but yeah, whatever. I was fine with that. The Channel Lake Frigid and Hypothermia, I like Channel Lake Frigid blocks for 3, right? But Okanol's like, come on, you're taking my one like attack away, right? Now it's like only Spinal Crush. So that's kind of a, man, that sucks, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how many cards actually got hit. Had it just been these two, I think Starvo would have, went down a tier, but still been playable, as well as all these other heroes, being playable as well. So let's get into that. I said Starvo goes down a tier, but how far does he go down now? Does he have replacements for Crippling, Okino, and Starstruck? Well, I got this here to look for it. You got Boulder Drop as a new card. I don't think it's doing enough. If you kind of look through the rest of this stuff, maybe Crush the Week, it can be something like a Starstruck, where you could just, make it where they can't play stuff on their turn. Okay, maybe, right? Some of these other stuff, maybe disable. You can run a little bit more Pulverize now. And Dump is another card disruption. There's not really, the Crippling Crush or Okanold effects out there right now. It's just, there's not a lot that's just like taking 2 cards out of the hand and really putting your opponent behind. So maybe Crush the Week, maybe Boulder Drop, or freaking Dump, but probably not. That's probably not going to do enough, right? Here's what I had for the old tier list before the BnR announcement. We had Starvo at the top here, and yeah, I don't think he's going to be at the top. We're going to make this new one here, and he's definitely not S rank anymore. We're going to figure out where he lies after all this. But as you can see here, these are A rank heroes. These are all heroes that could win it. These are like little, potentially spikers, and then these are just heroes to play if you're just looking to have fun. And that's really about it, unfortunately, for these heroes. But we have a whole new meta. We have all these cards being restricted. Let's get into this tier list for this new meta. And of course, we got to start with Starvo. No longer in the S tier. Doesn't belong here anymore. He has been, very much neutered. He does still have one of copies, so he's not totally out of the game. But right now, I'm thinking at the end of A tier, maybe the top of B tier. I think that's about all we have. So let's kind of keep him. Maybe let's go top of B, and we'll see if we want to put him at the end of A. Next up, we have Katsu. I'm just gonna kind of go down the line now. Katsu, I think there's potential with Katsu, but probably not. Like, you could potentially get your huge combo off. If you can do that a couple times a game, you can win, right? And Dishonor is a hell of a card. So I'm going to give him potential. I'm going to put him below Starvo, though. I think Starvo is actually still better. Uzuri, does she have enough disruption to stop Chain, Phi, Briar, Viscerai? And I think the answer is not really. Maybe she can be a potential, but I kind of want to put her on top of Casual. Bolton. I actually think Bolton is an A tier now. I think Bolton actually was a sneaky good matchup into some of the old Pro Tour 1 metas where you had Starvo, you had Prism, you had Viscerai at their full power, and yet Bolton could still get there. And the reason is because of the combo. So this is combo Bolton. I don't think this is Raiden Bolton. I think Raiden Bolton just isn't flashy enough to compete with the aggro decks and would probably fall maybe at the end of B or top of C. But combo Bolton, I think actually could be at A. Now that Starvo only has one Awakening and will probably be played less on top of it all, you could probably, put more cards from the... And well, on top of that, we should also look that Channel Lake Frigid and Hypothermia are being restricted, so that actually helps Bolton a lot. So you can probably, put less cards into worrying about Starvo from your sideboard and more into just, getting the combo off faster. I think this is a very, very good spot for Boltyn. Dromai, I think Dromai is dead. I think we're going to see his S and A tiers are going to be heavy aggro builds that Dromai's just not going to have a chance in. All right, let's get into Chain. I think Chain's an S tier. I think he has the Dustthorn weapon. I think he has his seeds. I think he has his game plan. I think he is ready to rock and roll. The only person that was really stopping him was Starvo, and that person got neutered. So I think Chain's there. And speaking of S tier, I think Viscera is another one. I think you could see equal results from both of these. Viscera having the Skeleton back, being able to do crazy wacky stuff for Food Chance, as well as, just being able to compete in a regular matchup if that's not your game plan. I think Viscera is here to compete. Icelander, I think Icelander, because it's going to be hyper aggro as far as the top of the meta, I think Icelander actually gets a bit of a bump. I think she got hit with that ban and restricted announcement, so I don't think she's like an A tier or anything. But I think she can still provide enough disruption to really slow down the aggro decks. So I'm going to give her some potential. This is looking, the more I think about it, the more I think maybe here. Dash is probably casual. I could see like a Tree Frog Dash being able to slow and just like withstand the aggro, but I don't know if it's enough, so I'm gonna put it casual. Dorinthia, I think Dorinthia is dead. The problem with Dorinthia is I don't think she's doing anything busted, and I think this is a busted format, right? You mean if you look at what Chain's doing, you look at Viscera doing, even what Boltyn's doing, these are all very busted things, and I don't think Dorinthia can withstand busted things or even do busted things herself. And I'm going to say the same with Max. I understand he could do the whole Nitro Mechanoid high octane turns, but that's a lot of setup, and that takes a little bit of time, where these guys, don't need as much time and as much setup. So Levia, yeah, we're going to put her there. Vincent, same deal. I'm not really ranking these in order, so these are whatever. Dash IO, can she be a little busted? Yeah. She can. Is she busted enough? I don't know. I really don't know, actually. I kind of want to put her around the same area as Katsu. Maybe there's potential for her to have those types of turns, but I think she needs to have 2 good busted turns in order to compete with these guys, where they just need to play the game, basically. Briar, I think Briar could be A, actually. Maybe A minus, B plus. She isn't her old errata self, which would have probably put her there. Maybe. I'm not sure, actually. But she is very, very good. She has Ball Lightning back. She could go Cheerio style. She could kind of race with these people. I don't think she's as good as these 2 Rune Blades, but I think she can withstand and hold her own. Bravo. I think Bravo's just dead. Maybe I'll put him at the end of casual, because he does have... no, he's dead. Rip. Lexi, an Ice Lexi, I think could be still disruptive. They do still have Amulet of Ice, right? So that's still a good, decent card. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think this is really a B minus right here. Riptide, probably in the same realm as Uzuri. You could do a little bit of disruption. Maybe you can withstand a little bit, but I think throughout time you're just gonna die. Oldhim, maybe. I think Oldhim, out of all the heroes that maybe could just try to fatigue these guys, Oldhim's the one. I don't think Oldhim has enough damage anymore to threaten Viscera when Viscera is going to OTK. So he's probably gonna have a terrible matchup here, but maybe he can fatigue Chain as well as withstand the Boltyn combo and fatigue Briar. So I'll keep him here. I'll put him right there. All right. Fi, I think Fi's really good. I will probably put him here. I think he's more consistent than Boltyn. But yeah, I think he's just a hair underneath these guys. I think he can go with the speed that they can as well. And I could easily see him just take turnies. But right now, I'm going to put him here. It wouldn't surprise me if he ends up in S tier. Teklo maybe could withstand some of those guys. I'll put him here. I'll put him there. Maybe I'll even give him. I'll give him there. All right. Reiner's dead. Arachne's dead. Kano's actually pretty interesting. I actually think Kano gets a little better, and that's because these two get a little worse. But I don't think Kano's in a great spot either, because Kano's best matchup was actually Starvo, as far as like looking right here. Like out of all these heroes, his best matchup was Starvo. So now this hero Prism, she's gonna go down. She's not gonna be an A tier anymore. Her best matchup was also Starvo. But now he doesn't have to worry about Prism, but he does have to worry about these three or these four just racing him. Bolton he won't have to worry about, so that's nice. But I think he's in B tier. I think he's still in the B tier. It's just you got to be a good Kato player to know how to pilot against these guys. I'm gonna put him at the end of B tier though. Azalea, I actually think Azalea might actually have some legs here. I actually think she's B plus. I'd even put her over Starvo because she can actually play the game plan of Red in the Ledger deck, which hurts all of these heroes. And so if she can, keep that going, maybe with adding cards like Memorial Ground to like just find ways to always play a Red in the Ledger and always force your opponent to block or always force your opponent to only do one thing. I could see Azalea move up into A rank. I don't know about S rank, but definitely I could see her move up here. I think she is a solid B plus, potentially A minus. All right, let's get into the last two, the Light Illusions here. The OG Prism does take a hit. I don't think she falls out of grace. I don't think she's like totally out of it. I think she's in B tier. I'd put her, I don't know, I'd maybe put her at the end of B tier. It kind of feels weird though. But these are just, rough matchups, right? Like, yeah, she can play the Aura route and like, maybe get some Celestial Cataclysms on and stuff like that. But it could still just get really rough with just how aggro these heroes are. Like, we're looking at these top 5 heroes. These are all aggro heroes. And even one has Kodachis to like really stop these spectral shields. So I think it's going to be very, very tough for Prism to really get a board status. Now she can Herald against a lot of these, which that's pretty nice. Maybe less so on Briar, but she can play some Herald, so maybe she can race in that way. Maybe I'll give her above here. Maybe I'll give her above there. I think good Prism players can get her right there. And then this Prism, the Awakener Prism, she's just this Prism but worse because she has less life. I understand she can make Angels. I don't see the Angels making an impact. I'm going to put her under casual. I think maybe there's like, something there that could be explored, but so maybe she's not dead, but I think she's pretty casual. So, all right, this is it. This is the tiered list. We have the Rune Blades. Definitely, showing their status right now. I think these guys are going to take, just take action and initiative and go and just take tourneys. Fi, I could see do that as well. I think Bolton's a bit of a little sleeper here, but honestly, Bolton combo is just really good with these, right? You're blocking, setting up the combo, and then when you do your combo, you're gaining life and dealing damage. It's just too good. And then Azalea is my other sleeper here. So I think Bolton and Azalea are my sleepers that could do very well. I can see Icelander and Prism and even Oldham have some chances. Maybe they're a bit of a sleeper, but this is where Starvo is now. I like him where he's at here. And I think you can play more heroes now. You can see that there's more heroes in these top 3 spots. So I think the bannings were a good thing. I do think they overreached. I do think it just needed to be these two, but so be it. we are at least going to see a more interesting living legend format, and that's is what I'm excited for. Now I'm actually excited to play even more. I was totally fine with this. I love Servo Mirrors, but now I'm actually really excited with this as well. So thanks guys for watching. Let me know what you think as far as like the bannings and where the tier list is. But yeah, thanks for watching and keep on fabbing.